Hello, everybody, and welcome to Live Q&A. I do this every Monday with everybody at noon. Usually I try to do it. So this week when we did the top 100 list, I tried to schedule them around all our live stuff. Some live stuff disappeared, but the marble race is still happening tomorrow. It's just happening early at 8:30. And the crowd surfing is still happening Wednesday, and board game breakfast on Thursday. And today I did board game breakfast and this and the top 100s around it. And I'm like, whew. I better, drink a lot, try to stay hydrated, because that's a lot of talking in a row. I told my wife, so when I come home tonight, I'm probably going to be pretty quiet. And she smiled very widely, probably in moral support is what I'm assuming. So hello to everybody. Welcome to Q&A. This is where you can ask pretty much anything you want, but I won't answer anything I want, which is slightly different. So we're going to start off by talking about the Kickstarter first, and then we'll get to your questions. So with the Kickstarter, we just reached our last goal. Tim is going to be joining me and Z for reviews. So the way it's going to work, just so you know, we're still working on a name. I have an idea, but we're still working on it. Tim will pick a game that he's not played before. He'll play it, and then we'll see which of us knows more about the game, me or Z, and then we'll do a review of him with him. And this will go back and take a look at older games this way. A way to, look at, it doesn't have to be old, right? It could be a few years ago, but still games that are not in hot newness. And I think that will be a nice look back at that sort of thing. Also, Tim has a fantastic voice in gaming. He runs Dice Tower West, does a great job. And so I'm very eager to have Tim join us on board with that. Alrighty, so, okay, so we have reached that goal. That's our 280,000. We have 290,000 where we're going to do like a playthrough of a game, and then we'll cut away from the game and do some talking about stuff. We did that with some games in the past. We're going to do that again, and we think that'll be a lot of fun to show that kind of style. So we'll do 2 more of those if we reach 290. And then at 300, we are going to do a behind the scenes where we'll show you, sometime over this course this year, we'll show you what it's like to work at the Dice Tower and everything behind the scenes. We'll make a video about that. 310, if we hit that goal, then Mike is going to do his top 50 solo games, and Liz and Jason will be doing their top 50 games of all time. And now I'm adding our last stretch goal. So last year we got 319. So I figured if we can beat that, I put 325 because I'm super nervous about this. I kind of hope it doesn't fund, actually. But if we reach 325 sometime over the course of this year, me, Roy, and Mike, and just us 3, no one else, and I'd like to point out it was Mike's idea, we will get our dice guy tattooed on us, and we'll video it. Now, if it happens while the COVID thing is still happening, we'll wear masks. We'll be as safe as we can. We might wait till later in the year to do it, just to see, when things are hopefully better. And I've been toying with the idea for a really long time. And, Roy obviously has tattoos. I don't know if Mike does or not, actually. I don't. I did check with my wife here. I'll probably get it like on my shoulder here or something. So I want us to reach the goal, but if we don't, you won't see tears streaming down my face either. So that's our last final stretch goal. We thought that might be a silly, fun thing to do. And we'll see what happens. I grew up actually hearing that tattoos were like, I'm the devil. So, Dad, you're not watching, right? Alrighty, so folks, I'm going to start taking questions right now. So if you've already asked questions, I apologize. A lot of chat has already gone by, so you can redo some of this stuff if you want to. Will there be a separate channel that covers tabletop RPGs? And I need to move that so it's all the way on the screen there. No, probably not. I mean, maybe in the future that sort of thing will happen. We've done a few RPGs here on the channel, but not very often. I don't even play RPGs much myself. I love playing role-playing games, but I simply don't have the time to do everything in life. So I pick some things to cut out, and that's one of the things I picked to cut out. I do stuff with my family. I like to play video games as a side thing, and read books, and there's a lot of activities I would love to do, but I don't have time to do all of them. The closest I get to role-playing is with our werewolf group. And so I'll play Werewolf once in a while. I was playing it every week. That got a little bit overwhelming, but I'll probably play a werewolf game this week, probably. Let's see here. Did you get laser eye surgery? Yes, I did, actually. My kids all seem to wear glasses as well. Not all my kids have glasses. Melody does not have glasses. Amy does, but she doesn't need them except when she drives. Holly has contacts. Claire does not need glasses except when she reads. Yeah, you're right. Pretty much all the kids need glasses, except for Melody for some reason. But for myself, it was great. It's fantastic. I'm glad I did it. But my eyesight is starting to go at this point. But that is more nearsightedness. So, like, once I go, well, I can actually read this because it's written nice and big. But like my computer, if I get close to it, I have a hard time reading it, and it's getting more pronounced, especially in low light. So I'll probably have to get bifocals at some point. Does clicking the like button for a YouTube video give you some sort of advantage, or does some for the dice tower? I keep forgetting to click it. Well, it's not a huge deal, right? I don't care that much about it, but it does help more people to see the videos. They pop up on more things, the more clicks. Even thumbs down can help in that regard, although I prefer not to get thumbs down because they just feel negative. We always find it fascinating. A lot of our videos have thumbs down before they even start, but I'm like, all right, cool. The Legendary dropped to the 90s place because it's not the only good Marvel themed game. No, it's hard to explain really just the whole process. I just put all the games and I just put them in order from me liking them or not. And it's going to just fluctuate based on what I really enjoy playing and what I like that year. And so games will move up, games move down. I don't look at previous years when I do it. A lot of games end up in the same place because, hey, I just happen to like them the same amount. Sometimes they fluctuate and sometimes I'm like, I just don't play that as much anymore. It's not a bad thing. And again, remember that I played, I think it's 6,000 games at this point. So it's really high compared to every other game in existence. Regarding this tattoo, would love to hear how you pick the artist to tattoo you. Yeah, we'll have to do some research in that. This is definitely an area of expertise I know nothing about. I'll defer to Roy. Again, if and only if it happens. Will you be reviewing Cthulhu Wars Duel since it was on the wall? No, Roy and Mike reviewed it. So I can't review everything. So they were kind enough to review that one for me. If it's on the wall, that means it's likely to be reviewed at some point by somebody. Any update on the board game TV show you were part of? Not yet. I definitely check in on that every couple months. As soon as I have news, I'll let everyone know. 5 from Monica Murphy. Have you heard of Thinker Themer? And have you watched any of their content? Yes, I have heard of them. Thinker Themer, if you don't know what I'm talking about, they're a YouTube channel. And one of the ladies is on the thinker side of things, as in the mechanisms, and then Themer likes the theme. I probably tilt towards theme myself, but they do some very nice videos. I was impressed with what I've seen. I've not watched a ton of their stuff. I don't watch a ton of YouTube content, but I watch enough because I wanted to know what they were about. And I've briefly corresponded with them and said I really like their stuff. Tom, do you ever stop live streaming? Yes, we do. It's not as intense as it might seem, although like I said, today I feel like I'm going to talk a lot. But even when I'm done here with Q&A at 1 o'clock, I'll have 1 hour to rest my voice before our thing at 2. Where do you get the large dice? You can look on the internet and just search for large dice, depending on the size that you might want to get them at. I don't remember what those are. Most dice are, I think, a normal size dice. I don't remember what the sizes are off the top of my head, but you can just put in large dice and you can find them, or maybe if you have a local game store, you can ask them and they can even help you find specific large dice. Tom, when was the first top 100 ever? I apologize, I don't have it here in front of me, but I know it was like 15, 16 years ago. I know what it was. I was invited to go to Malaysia. And I'll tell you what, this was a very different time. So I got an email from some people, and they're like, hey, Tom, we like your reviews. we'd like to bring you into Malaysia as a guest of honor at our convention. And I was like, this feels like a scam. Who wants me as a special guest at any convention? So I emailed back and said, is this real? And they're like, yes, it's real. And I was like, oh my goodness, I get to go to Malaysia. They're even going to pay for the trip. I lived in Korea, so going from Korea to Malaysia is not as complex as it would be from America. So that was helpful. So anyway, I was like, all right, what do you want me to do? And they said, we want you to do several talks. All right, what do you got? And they said, well, maybe you can do your top 100 games of all time. And I was like, top 100? I guess. I mean, I like a lot of games. So I went through on the airplane ride there. It was like a 5-hour flight, and I was sitting there working on my 100 games. I just wrote them up on the trip, and then I stood up, and I just went through that whole 100 list in front of a bunch of people. It was in a giant mall. Malaysia has this huge mall at the bottom of the Petronas Towers that most people know what they are. There's a huge mall at the bottom, and that's where it was. And in the mall itself, there's a big conference room where the thing was. But outside the conference room, in the mall area, where they had their thing. So here I am talking, and some people stopped by and listened. There was maybe 50, 60 people who came and listened to the thing. And it was just a cool experience. And then I thought, well, that was fun making my top 100. I guess I'll do it on the internet at some point. And when I started YouTubing, I thought, well, we'll start off with a top 100 list. Because I didn't know if I could do reviews. Because I only had a web camera, but I knew I could look at the web camera and talk. And I thought that would be fun. And so that's kind of where the top 100s came from. That wasn't probably exactly what you were asking. Sorry. Yes, we hit the goal last year of a review live play as voted on by you. Some of that got kind of tangled up with COVID. I have not forgotten about that. We will do that soon, where we'll put it out there and let people vote on what game we're going to play. Do you think they'll make a new Pandemic Legacy game in the future? I'm going to say no, and I'll tell you why I don't think so. One, they've said that they're done, I think. I'm pretty sure that that's the impression I got from them, was that they were done. Two, this last pandemic, Season 0, was in play a long time before an actual real-life pandemic hit us. And I think they would have a hard time making one now. It would seem odd, I think. I might be wrong there, but I don't think they'll make another one. Tom, aside from breakfast in the morning, what other meal does breakfast food taste best, lunch or dinner? I feel like you're trolling me here. If you don't know, I'm very, very adamant on this point. I do not understand that there's even foods that are considered breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I feel like you can eat any food anytime. So, if I'm hungry at breakfast time and I want to eat a sub sandwich, I can. And it's confusing to me that there's these specific foods that are breakfast foods, pancakes and waffles. And every time I say that, people go, well, no, you can eat pancakes and waffles for any meal. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that I could eat a hamburger for breakfast or spaghetti for breakfast. And people are like, that's so weird. But that's because you've been trained to think that's weird. And I'm going to go off my rant. But so I don't care. What prompted me to begin my own Dice Tower channel? I got a webcam on my computer. That's it. I was already writing reviews, though, so it was a bit of an easy jump over. It would be interesting to see the results if you falsely hyped a game that you knew was terrible, like it was a 10 out of 10. Yeah, sure, that's a kind of a cool concept in theory, but I would never even do that, I think, as a joke, unless it was an obvious joke. Like, for April Fool's Day, I don't know, 5 years ago now, it's been a long time, me, Z, and Sam did our top 10 games no one's ever heard of or something like that, and we put 3 games. We each put a game on there that no one knows. Sam was just goal. Mine was some space game. I can't remember what it was called. Z's was Lice Shower, and that's actually taken on a life of its own. If you ever hear people talk about that, that's where it came from, and we just made these games up. And then I worked with Scott Alden. I actually got these games put onto Board Game Geek as actual things. And then I emailed a bunch of people and said, hey, can you go rate these games? And then we took them down, of course. But for a moment, that was funny. But I don't know that I would do that today because people might take it too seriously. Will there no longer be another Corner to Corner? No, I'm not saying there won't be anyone. We're just pausing it for now. I'm glad you liked it, and it might be back. And I want to be really clear. There's nothing with me and Rod or anything. I just needed to take a break from that show, doing that one every other time. We did it for the year 2020. I thought it was good. I didn't want to make too much of a good thing in essence. And you'll probably see me and Rado work together in some manner or fashion in the future. Any news on EU-friendly shipping on your Kickstarter? I will know that answer by Wednesday. We're talking to someone who can ship for us, and it's looking very promising. Why did you jam the entire top 100 in 1 week? Last year it was over 2 weeks. Oh, well, why not? I don't know. I don't think it really matters that much. I just do different things different times. So that's what we did this week. Reports are saying the price and scarcity of shipping containers is increasing. How much do you think this will affect the board game industry? It might make things more expensive. Who knows? But I imagine that things will balance out in the future. Is there any way to tell when a game will get a second print run? I wish. You know, if you have, like, you're talking about Search for Planet X, your best thing, I guess, is to talk to Renegade, and hopefully it will come out. For sharing purposes, should the new top 100 list be called Dice Tower's Top 100 Games of All Time 2020 or Dice Tower's Top 100 Games of All Time 2021? I don't think I put the date in it at all. I just always put it out. I add the date later when we put up the new one. Like, for example, now we have this one going up, we'll add 2020 in parentheses to the old one. How much coffee do you drink to keep up this energetic with everything you do? Well, I'm not energetic with everything I do. I'm very energetic when I'm on camera here, and I'm kind of energetic a little bit in life. But I go home at night, I'm very quiet with my family usually. I drink 1 cup of tea in the morning. Yeah, I don't do too much caffeine. Sometimes if I'm feeling like, ooh, sometimes I will drink a cup of hot chocolate because I do love hot chocolate because that has a little bit of caffeine. And once in a great while, if I really need a boost, I'll drink some of the G Fuel that Roy drinks. But I always crash after that too, so it's not as good for me to drink. Tom, if you want extra 10,000 search, go let us vote on where you get the tattoo. Oh, no. No. Are you still excited for Sleeping Gods? Oh, yes. We were just talking about this morning. It's sitting on the shelf. We got it a few days ago, and it still hasn't got played, and I want to, but there's so many games, so little time. I mean, we're sitting on a lot of cool games, and that's one of them. What's your favorite book in the Stormlight archive so far? I started reading Way of Kings recently, and I'm loving it. I really like all 4 of them. All 4 have great moments in them, but the book 3 is my favorite so far. I think I like the backstory in book 3 a lot, and I like the finale climax of book 3, which I'm hoping the finale climax of book 5 supersedes that, but we'll see. It's like a couple years away. But you know what? I bet I get book 5 before you Game of Thrones fans get your book. Tom, now I'm 50 plus, I can't play a game without my readers. Thank you. Well, it is what it is. It's part of getting old. Cool artwork. Are you happy with the number of people in the Dice Tower? Or do you want to recruit more people? Well, I'm always looking for more folks to be involved with the Dice Tower. I mean, there has to be a place and a spot for them to fit in, and sometimes people want to do their own channels and things like that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun for me to do the whole Dice Tower thing. Today you mentioned Age of Empires, Age of Discovery, and the game looks good, but I can't find it at any FLGS. Yeah, it's been out of print for a while. I don't know when it would come back in. I know they kickstarted it. I believe Eagle Griffin kickstarted it, so maybe you can get it at their website. What's your #1 non-solo game that you would play if it had a quicker setup time? HeroScape. I'd play HeroScape way more if it was faster to set up. Are tattoos safe with COVID? I haven't a clue. But like I said, we'll be as safe as possible, or we'll wait till later in the year where it doesn't matter anyway. I'm not doing it tomorrow. I think it's about as safe as anything else. I think it's probably as safe as getting a haircut. You know, you wear masks, you take all the safety precautions. When will you be able to play Praga? Yeah, I get it. That's another one on my shelf. We have several large games that have not been played yet. We got Praga, Bloodborne, Sleeping Gods. Those are the three big ones that we haven't played yet. Then I got a lot of big games we have played and haven't been reviewed. So I played several games of the weekend with my kids, but they were lighter games. Well, not all of them were light, actually. One of them was pretty involved. But I'm having fun, and we keep going back and playing Adventure Tactics together, too, so that's not helping. Will there be tabletop RPG reviews that are reviewed by someone else on the channel? It shouldn't be you, I've heard. Why wouldn't it be me? I tend to like tabletop RPGs. Descent was like in my top games for the longest of times. I like Star Wars Imperial Assault. I don't like all of them. Yeah, but definitely shouldn't be me. I think this is funny. I just gave Alter Quest an 8 out of 10. And people are like, oh, you didn't like it. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but that was pretty funny. Please tell me board gaming with my kids gets better once they can read. Maybe, but they might not like gaming. You never know. Have you ever been in a fight? Well, yes, but I'm assuming you mean a physical altercation. Not since I was a kid. And even then, twice, maybe? And my mom came and made me come in the house one time. I was so mad at her. I was like, Mom, I was defending your honor, because the other person said something like, your mom, or something to that effect. And I was like, well, you got to fight now. That's what the other kids said. But it was so, I don't remember anything that happened. My mom was so mad at me. And I was thinking, why would she be mad when I was defending her? See if that happens again. Which is what she wanted. But no, like an adult, no, never. College, no. Like, not even close. Oh, in college once, I had a friend, Rod, very dear friend in college, who I was so mean to. And he twice, he gave me what I deserved. Once, he was playing Super Mario Kart, and this was like Super Mario Kart on Super Nintendo or whatever. And he was doing very well, and I came in and just turned off the system because I was a jerk. And I leaned over his shoulder, turned it off, and the next thing I knew, I was on my back. And I was like, how did this happen? I was much thinner back then, and Rod was a wrestler. And so, yeah, I deserved that. And another time, I told my roommate to go do the same thing. I had a roommate, when I was a senior, I had a roommate who was like, I'll do whatever you want type guy. And I was like, hey, go do that. It's funny. See what happens. And I thought, all right, let's see what Rod does to him. And Rod came up and hit me with an umbrella multiple times. Not like painfully bad, but it was, I deserved it. So I guess that would be the fight I was in. But Rod was a very good friend of mine. He was at my wedding, I believe. No, he wasn't. Was he at my wedding? Can't remember if he came back from my wedding or not. I wanted him to be at my wedding, at the very least. Hi, there is a try a game Tom Vasel dislikes in a Dice Tower Balance Gamer Challenge. From what rating do you consider you dislike the game? 5 or below, I dislike it. 6 is but 5 or below, I don't like it. Will you do a games that fell off our top 100? Not particularly, but I have an idea, and I'm going to wait till the end of this week before I announce it. So find out then. What's my favorite bird to eat? Turkey? No. Oh, maybe not. My wife just made spaghetti with some ground ostrich in it. So we have this place near us called Wild Fork, and they sell all sorts of, is it Wild Fork? Whatever it is. It's a meat place. And they have an exotic meat section, so we tried out ostrich. I've had ostrich once or twice before in my life. I really liked it. Very, very little fat in it, but I can't. There was like ooh, that's cool. We'll never do it again. It gets super expensive. So ostrich to eat. Now, to look at majestically wise, It's hard to beat a penguin, right? I just love penguins. I think they're cute, they're funny. I could watch them all day long. Thank you for that sticker. A white unicorn with rainbow hair. All right. Favorite HeroScape character? I don't remember off the top of my head. I want to say it's Grok, but I fortunately have done my top 10 HeroScape characters somewhere on the channel, so you can just go watch that. How about combining Look Back with live plays for the Spring Spectacular? Play games with 1, 5, and 10 years ago with the group. Ooh, maybe you're reading our minds. We'll see. I know you're not a fan of debt. This is a little. I'm not going to get too deep in this, folks. Don't get worried. I'm not a fan of debt, but I don't. Who is? Who wants to be in debt? Are you against taking on any debt for the Dice Tower as a business? I don't know. I would like to not do so. Right? I mean, that's why we do the Kickstarter. It's a better way for us to operate. That's one of the reasons we do it. How AP do you get? Not as much as you might think. If it's too long, I'd be like, whatever, just make a move and see what happens. Sometimes I'm trying to calculate out a move, but I would argue that I'm not a slow gamer. Alrighty. With Dice Tower Top 100, I know I'm going to want a few games out of print. What ways do you suggest trying to get out of print games? Number one, Board Game Geek. You go to the game, there are people selling it almost always. You can usually find a copy there. I've had very good success doing that. 2, eBay. Those are my top 2 choices. Maybe Craigslist, but I don't know. Is Craigslist as good these days? Are we going to see After the Empire or Venture Tactics in your top 100? I guess you'll have to wait and find out. But I will say, at least I can be very specific with After the Empire. I played that after my top 100 list was already put together. Would it have made my top 100? We'll see. I eat a salad every day for breakfast. Salads are great for breakfast. They also wake you up. They put you in a good mood. I agree. Tom, when pizza's on a bagel, you can eat pizza anytime. You can still eat pizza anytime in the morning. I'm really curious how Tom is taking live questions from 125 on 118. Is this the second time we've done this? All right, every time I see this, I'm just going to go in and edit it right now so that we can fix this sort of thing. Edit video. And change it to, this is called editing on the fly, 25. Done. This tie actually was a Christmas present for me from my marketing manager, Lindsay. It's a Universal Horror tie. I thought it was pretty cool. I was very happy with this. I'm very pleased with this tie. That's neat. Chiefs or Buccaneers? If you had asked me that question like 4 hours ago, I might have said, why are you asking me this? But now I realize it's because I think they're both in the Super Bowl. I don't really care, folks. Please don't be upset for you sports fans. I don't not care. I really am kind of neutral on it. I might watch the Super Bowl, but probably not, because I usually use it as an excuse to get together with other people in a party, and that's probably not happening now. So I probably won't do anything because my kids don't care about football. What do I think of Elf Creek's new game, Honey Buzz? Oh, I actually did it in one of my short reviews. I liked it. Do you pay any attention to the Board Game Geek top anticipated games of 2021 list? Yes, in fact, we're doing our top 10 anticipated games from 2021 next week, which is one of the reasons we did the top 100 this week. And then I got a top 10 with a guest scheduled the week after that. Or, well, not scheduled, but it should be scheduled soon, hopefully. Yeah, although there's one thing I don't like about that list. I've got at least 3 emails from companies asking me to go vote their game up. And I feel like that's against the spirit of that list. That list is where people vote up games they're interested in. If a game's good at marketing people, and that almost turns into hype at that point. I'd rather people just do it naturally. Also, could you thumb this video up? I'm not a hypocrite at all. Is it weird that Pandemic's the best-selling game of 2020? I don't know if that's true. Maybe it is. But if it is, yeah, why not? I mean, it's about stopping a pandemic. It's not about causing one. Have you heard of Now or Never, which is going to be set in Arzeum, one of Ryan Lauka's games? Yeah, it's a sequel to Near and Far, actually. All right, I'm only going to say this one once, okay? I've seen a lot of questions come across this. Any thoughts on all the negativity surrounding other content creators and social media lately? I do my best to get along with all the social media, and I mean, to get along with all the other content creators. I think they, for the vast majority of them, are doing a fantastic job. And so if I want to talk about other content creators, I will do so, endeavor to do so in a positive, uplifting way. If I say something negative about someone on another content creator, then you can take it as a joke. I might like say something funny about Rado, but that's because he might say something funny back to me. And so that would be a joke in that regard, like I used to do with Mr. Bonacor and things like that. My goal here at Dice Tower is to be as positive as we possibly can, and our channel is open to quite a few people, and you'll notice that we have a large group of people from different channels. You'll notice that many different channels, people have shown up here on the Dice Tower, and yeah, we're gonna endeavor to remain positive in that regard. That's all I'm going to talk about that today. Sorry. I know the last year Kickstarter had a website rebuilt. How's that going? What cool features can we expect? Well, it's going. It's just being transformed right now. It's being rebuilt from the ground up. So it's taking a long time. What cool features? I can't tell you right now, unfortunately. I've not actually been part of that. They just bring the major things to me. But so far, I'm pretty happy with how it's looking. But I don't have a timeline for you on it other than to say it's being done. What was the best thing you ate this weekend? I had a lot of good things this weekend. But my wife tried a new chicken recipe with fresh vegetables in it. It's from this group called Pampered Chef, the recipe, and it was astounding. And so pleased, my kids did not care for it that much. So I ate a lot of it. That was really good. Do you feel the same sense of excitement and fulfillment running the Dice Tower as when you started it? Yes. Yes, yes. I rang a little bit. But yes, I really do. Things can change. I don't get a sense of excitement right now when I'm filling out 1099s and doing taxes for the Dice Tower. There's some things I'm not thrilled about doing. In fact, if the Dice Tower gets a little bit bigger, business manager's on my list of things to hire. So I don't have to do any of that stuff anymore. But I love it. I love the fact that 1,500 people just watched us do our top 100. That's fantastic. I loved how joyful everyone was talking back. I like seeing the pictures, even though it makes me sad, of last year's Dice Tower cruise, which would be going on right now, or Dice Tower West from last year. And I look forward to going back to those things in the future, but I like that sort of thing, and it makes me excited and happy. I love playing new games, not all of them. I played several games over the weekend which weren't that fantastic, but you know what? I still like the experience of trying them out for the first time. So yeah, I do get excitement, fulfillment running the Dice Tower, and I really like the core group I have here at the studio, and Z and Roy and Mike and now Chris and Kenny, and then Lindsay and Sharon who runs Dice Tower East, and Tim who runs Dice Tower West, and we just have this camaraderie, and it's really fantastic. And the many, many, many other people involved in Dice Tower. I don't mean to leave anybody out. There's a reason we have these pictures, because this is what I want to promote in the Dice Tower. This is what I want. Lots of people getting along, even though we might disagree on every other thing in the world, and we might even disagree on board games. But we all want to promote the hobby and make it a welcoming place. Let's see here. What's your favorite non-official luxury upgrade for a board game you own? Ooh. Well, I've always wanted, I don't have one, but I've always wanted one of those Dominion Lazy Susans. There's like a specific one built for Dominion. We've had some in our Dice Tower charity auctions. I've even bid on them a few times, and I always get outbid. But I love that. I love to have that just to play Dominion on a Lazy Susan. It's awesome. You put out all the cards, and when it's your turn, we just rotate it towards you. That's amazing. But what do I have that's luxury and not official? That's my favorite. Maybe the upgraded pieces I have for Food Chain Magnet. I hunted them down from China. Someone else showed it to me, so I'm not taking credit. But like little Coke bottles and stuff. I don't like Food Chain Magnet, but I want the Copy and Dice Tower library to be the best it can be, and those pieces are amazing. Tom, what's the worst shipping mishap you remember? I think there was a container ship capsize. That's the second one I heard about this year. Well, this year, I've only heard about one. I think you meant last year there was one too. We are in a new year. I know it doesn't feel like it. I know that there was a stolen shipment from Slugfest games of Red Dragon Inn. A whole pile of them, the whole thing was stolen. I don't know if they ever got them back or not. So that was kind of very unfortunate in regards to that. What's my tea of choice? I don't know that I necessarily have any specific tea, but I like my teas to have caffeine. Since I only drink 1 cup a day, I want it to be a pick-me-up. And so I kind of jump around. I tend to like chai tea a lot. A strong cinnamon flavor. I like chai tea, I like black tea, I like red tea, English tea, Earl Grey. Those kind of teas are my thing. Green teas I don't dislike, and in fact, when it's cold, I tend to like, my favorite cold tea is green blueberry tea. It's such a great cold tea. Iced tea, sorry, not cold tea. But for hot teas, I prefer the black is good. Sometimes it's a little bitter, and there's been a few I don't like. And I tend to like sometimes the seasonal ones like peppermint or eggnog, but I tend to like those in small doses. But I think the one I have the most of is just black tea, probably. What do you think of the upcoming Marvel Smash Up expansion? Well, that would be a better question to ask me in about 4 hours, or no, maybe 6 hours or 7. I'm playing it with my kids tonight, so we'll see. Just got it today. Are you a granddad? As far as I know, no. Who is the artist who draws our dice people? That is Tina Bongorno. I ran across her at Origins. Hang on a second. Let me show y'all something cool. So, this happens to be sitting here in this room. So I ran across Tina at Origins, and I always go through the art sections at conventions. I find that fascinating. A lot of that art I don't like at all, but I like art. I like to put up stuff on my walls. I have art. I just find that fascinating. And Tina was there, and I liked her art. It was like QT artwork, and she had a thing that said, I'll draw 1 minute drawing for $10 or 10-minute drawing for $1. I don't remember what it was, but it was like, do a quick drawing. And I was like, sure. Now, after she was done, I felt bad and I paid more because of that. But this is the original drawing that she did. So this is like the first Mickey Mouse. That's what it feels like to me. So this is the drawing she did for us. And I got it and I was like, oh, that's awesome. I had just asked her to make a die with a hat who was podcasting. And I thought, if I like it, maybe I'll use it for, a logo for the Dice Tower. Because I've always been on the lookout for, I like the Dice Tower logo, but I wanted it to be more personable. So I brought this home and I kept looking at it and I thought, I really like this. Maybe she could do more. So I emailed her. Actually, no, I got her card at Origins and I told her maybe I'd be interested more. I got her, asked her to do some. She started doing them for me and everybody loved them. Everyone thought they were fantastic. Not everybody. I know there's a few people out there that don't like them, but for the most part, in the studio, we loved them. And so we just kept in contact with her, and now we are giving her a constant stream of stuff to do. And what she does is amazing. I mean, this picture behind me is my favorite thing she's ever done. And this was one of like 7 great ideas that she gave me. And I was like, fine, we'll pick this one. And Don't worry. We're going to pick one of the other great ideas next year for Kickstarter, too. Will you review Dice Throne Adventure? Likely. What do you think about the Castle of Mad King Ludwig Colossal Edition where the tiles are 4 times the size? I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about this more in crowd surfing when this comes up, I'm sure. That's a big table hog. I mean, it's a cool idea, I guess, but that's a big table hog. That sounds like a convention thing only. Is the bottom right of the Dice Tower poster teasing for a Dice Tower Funko Pop collection line? It is not. By the way, I would be remiss. I guess I should mention that. I mean, I talked a little bit about our stretch goals and stuff, but the Dice Tower Kickstarter is live now. And if you wanted one of those custom dice people, we added several of them just now. I wanted to wait till today to add them. I'm assuming they're not all gone already. That would be amazing to me. There's probably, oh yeah, there's 18 left. So if you want your own custom dice person, you can go do that. What's your idea for a movie game night? I've never done that. I don't know. We do game night or we do movie night. We don't really mix them. I don't know why. Is the review of Hallertau coming up soon? Next week. My wife is thinking about trying to get into playtesting. Would you need to ask each publisher individually, or is there somewhere you can go for general inquiries? There's some people who run playtest groups that I know of, but I think it's done more on a publisher-to-publisher basis. Does the Dice Tower have reviews only on videos? Yes. Have you thought about adding text on reviews with scores? No. I used to do text. I moved the video. I think me talking has more nuance than writing. Don't get me wrong. Some people can write really well. I'm not one of those guys. I go back and read my old reviews for board games. I'm like, I can't believe anyone read those. What's better for the Dice Tower? Donations via YouTube comments or via Kickstarter? It probably comes out to be the same thing. Why are speed trains not more popular in this country like in South Korea? I don't know, but if I had to guess, first of all, our country is, 30 times the size of South Korea, so that's part of it. But I would guess that in America, people tend to like to use their own transportation. We tend to like to drive cars. When I lived in Korea, I owned a van there for the last 2 years we were in Korea, but before that, the first 8 years, we didn't own any vehicle, and we got along just fine. Public transportation was great. And I don't even know that I needed a vehicle. But, I mean, it was nice to have one eventually. But, if you're American, we tend to like to drive ourselves for the most part, although that might change in the future. Top marks, but almost scathing? No. I'm just giving my opinion on it. I still like the game, but I think we need to call out, the things that I thought were problematic with it. I think it's still a good game, but there's a lot going on in it. Does a 1 exist on Board Game Reviews? Oh, yes. You can go look at my Board Game Geek ratings and see all the ratings I've given games. Just look up Tom Vasel on Board Game Geek. Do you pay your kids to test board games with you? No, but we made a deal. Free rent and board, and I buy them clothes, some gifts, some video game systems. I let them watch free movies. I pay for air conditioning. Sometimes I take them out to eat. It feels like a pretty decent deal, actually. Who would want to fight Tom? We were kids. I was very snarky, all right? I was not a strong kid at all. I was not a fast kid. I was picked last for sports teams, and that lasted all the way up into college. Even in college, I took beginning soccer, and I was the last person picked every time. I'm just not very good. The only sport I was any good at was street hockey. I really like street hockey. I don't know why that one stuck with me. I just really liked it. But I did not. So since I wasn't very athletic, I had a mouth on me, and I can needle people. I still can needle people. It's not a good trait, right? Words hurt. 6 stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you. That's a lie. And I was good at doing that to people. And so the kid, I didn't like him at all. I remember his name, Paul. I won't say his last name. I don't know actually if I remember his last name completely, but I tried to look him up on Facebook. But I don't know. We would do things together, but we occasionally also fought on occasion. No, it wasn't Paul. It was Tom. And I do remember his last name. It was Tom. It was another Tom. And he just came, I don't know. Why do kids yell at each other and argue with each other? There was no real good reason. Tom also steals one piece from puzzles so he can complete them. That's true, except my wife just did a puzzle and I didn't take any piece from it. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't do that this time. I'm maturing. Some serious visual quality improvements this week. All I did was move over here in front of the TV. I guess it gives me a better background light. The reason I'm not over here on this side is because this is where Roy is sitting for our top 100, and we didn't want to mess it up. He just wants to be able to slide back in there and do it later on. If you, Z, Roy, and Mike had an arm wrestling contest, who do you think would win? I know who would be the first one out. That would be me. After that, probably Roy, because he'd just be so determined. Is ostrich the most exotic meat you've ever had? No. No, it is not. I've had camel. I think camel would probably be the most exotic. I did not like camel. No, I had zebra. So maybe zebra. I've had dog. I've had, oh, now people are all upset everywhere. Not the cute dogs, mean dogs. Obviously, I've had rabbit, elk, bison, and deer. Duck. Duck's not that rare. Probably zebra then would be the most exotic. But I don't really go out of my way to do that. I just see something, I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. Let's try it. That's the sort of thing I'm at. Like I just recently tried cow brains and I was like, huh. Well, I did it. It was fatty. It didn't taste very good. I wouldn't do it again. But now I can say I've done it, I suppose. Do you play video games besides board games? Oh, I do. I just, over the weekend, beat Phoenix, a new game that's out for many systems. And it was exciting because my son likes to watch me play, and I'm glad he watched me play because he'll be like, you just missed a treasure chest. I'm like, oh, I did? I'm not very good at noticing stuff like that. But we went through and beat it for a very, very satisfying ending, I thought. And then I started the game over again on a harder level, and woof, I don't think I'll be able to beat it on a harder level, actually. But it was really fun and entertaining. And it's really fun. My son just likes to sit and watch me play games and chat with advice. And is the most backseat video game player I've ever met. But, hey, we're spending time together. But that's the one I've been playing. On my iPad, I've been playing a lot of the tower defense style games. But I usually get one game and play it for a long time. Now that I've beaten Phoenix, I don't know how often I'll play it. On the harder level even, I may not play it as much. So I'll probably turn over to something else. I just like these big open world games. Where would Century Spice Road and Century Golem be on the People's Choice if they were combined, since they're literally the same game? Well, they're literally not the same game, but I know what you mean. I don't know because they're not. So someone may have voted for both of them. So therefore their vote shouldn't be combined, right? So I don't know. I can't do those mental gymnastics. I can do them for myself, but not for the People's Choice. You mentioned you're going to share some top 100 of all-time stats. What do you have in mind for video about this? Oh, you're just going to have to wait and see. I'll announce it soon exactly how it's going to work and the timing of it because I want to have somebody else on with me, but I need to talk to that person first. But I have some graphs and charts and stuff, so it's pretty cool. What do you have against mustaches? I don't know. I started doing this a while ago, and it seems to work. It's a look I like. I know everyone calls me Amish because apparently if you do something a certain way, you're Amish. As I do my YouTube channel. But for me personally, the mustache would get my mouth or food would get caught in it. So I was like, why not? Also, not many people have this look, and so I always try to do something slightly different than other people. What's my favorite player count? 4. Facebook Marketplace is good for out-of-print stuff. I've never used it. I've done most of my stuff on Board Game Geek. Have you played any games that you think could be one of your top games of 2021, kind of like The Crew? Yes. So far, 2 of the games I played in 2021, well, they're in the top 10 at this point in time. I haven't played that many 2021 games, frankly. There's a lot of games that are not that way. I'm assuming maybe Sleepy Gods might make that list. Who knows? But, you know, there's a ton of games over the course of the year. But there are 2 that I'm on fire about right now that I love. What game has the best dice? Oh, so many good games have amazing dice at this point. I might do a top 10 on this someday. Besides the paid previews, do you ever try game previews on Board Game Arena or Tabletopia? No, I just don't enjoy doing that very much. I like the physical games. I can wait to do them, so I do. Do you ever attend local game designer meetups and playtest their games? I went to one in Orlando once. I think, says Nicholas, that many startup designers would like your opinion on their prototypes. No, they do not. I found this out for sure because I'd go in and I would just... I'm really harsh on prototypes, folks. You think I'm maybe a nice reviewer sometimes. I'm really mean to prototypes. But that's because a prototype can still be changed, right? And if you go to these things, you're going to find this is the pitch that you often get. This game is just like this, but more. It's not a good pitch. And so I've played a lot of prototypes from designers, and I've given my very straight up honest advice, and they don't really like it. And I don't feel really good about that, right? I don't feel good about criticizing someone's baby to some degree. So I might do it in the future. I wonder if you would like to eat silkworms. I don't really want to eat any bugs if that's okay. Let's see here. I've been getting a lot of political comments on my Twitch streams lately. How do you avoid talking politics? I just don't. Do you ignore them or do you tell people not to discuss chat? Well, I tell you right now, I ask people not to discuss it in chat. And if people do it, I mean, Twitch is, you have less control over your chat than YouTube does. What theme do you predict Elizabeth Hargrave's next game will be based on? I don't know, but I would imagine it would be something nature themed. She's done flowers, birds, and butterflies. Bees. No, but there's so many bees games, so I don't know. Have you heard about any exploits of Chief Sokotoa recently? Yeah, and you know, so one of the questions I often get asked is, why does Chief Sokotoa not take care of this COVID nonsense? And I asked him the same thing. In fact, I called him up immediately. But he said he can't be involved in that, and especially when he has to be dealing with the blanchiment. I always pronounce it incorrectly. Blanchiment. Anyhow, that's taking place on Rigel 86.2. Now, this is in a pocket mirror future dimension, I think. No, it's a pocket mirror once removed dimension. This is something that's easy to get those up. I have the chart about that. So that's taking up all his time right now. The Renegade Cowboys, which is a interstellar terrorist style group, is causing problems, and so he's working with that. But he is working with a good friend of mine, Billy Bob. Billy Bob is someone that we've known for a while. The redneck warrior is what some people call him. He doesn't really care for that. He calls himself the hick warrior, I believe. I don't remember what he called himself, but it doesn't matter. They're working together and dealing with this one wrench of all at a time. Burritos or quesadillas? I'd rather have a quesadilla. I like them both, but I like quesadilla. Let's see here. Thank you, Levi, for supporting us. We really appreciate that. It's a good thing we have so many YouTube channels about games. You think there will be a YouTube channel about YouTube channels about games? Not particularly, but I do remember a long time ago there was a podcast about podcasts. I know this because it was scathing when they did the Dice Tower. I don't remember what the podcast is. It's been years. But wow, they really beat me up over the coals on it. But yeah, it is what it is, you know. That's, you got to take it or... Have you started reading Storm My Archive? I've read it twice. Actually, I've only read book 4 once, but I've read the other books twice each. And after I read book 4, I went back and read book 1 again because I always I read stuff. I'm like, did I miss something? I want to make sure I didn't miss it. I don't know. I've read them a lot. Any way to buy some of the promos from the Kickstarter without buying the entire package? Would it be best to wait for them to go to the BGG store instead if we want specific promos but not others? Yes, I get asked this every time. It is by far the #1 asked thing on our Kickstarter. Well, tied with how do you get more than one thing? And I always tell people the same thing, and it's the truth: logistics. We just can't. If we take our 50, 60 promos and you could pick any of them, it would be a nightmare. It would be 2022, late 22 till they shipped everybody. It would be a mess. Some promos would disappear before others. It would just be a big problem. And also, you're not buying the promos. You're supporting the Dice Tower, and we give you these promos as a reward. And I know some people say potato, potato, but to me, it's not. To me, if you're just buying the promos, then I kind of would rather, I'm not really catering to you. I'm catering to people who like what we do. This is our product. The promos are something extra. This is our product, what we're doing right now, and what we've been doing all day. What is the Dice Tower record for most people watching a video live? I think we broke 3,000 one time. I think that was for our top 10 through 1 last year, maybe? Or yeah, in 2020? Maybe. I don't know. If I get more than 10, it's a good day. Let's see. I must be behind tremendously. What model TV is behind you? A special non-reflective one? No, it's reflective, but we try to find pictures. Like this is a picture here. I mean, it said non-reflective, but it reflects depending on the picture that's on it. So this particular one, and also we move the lights so that they try not to reflect off the screen too much. Wow, people are talking about teas. My word, I'm far behind in questions. So you probably don't have any info on Dice Tower East yet, huh? Well, I can tell you this. We're working on that this week. I worked on Dice Tower East last week. There's good things. But I mean, we just got to wait and see. We're working with the hotel. We're watching what's going on in the world. As soon as I can announce something, I will. I promise I'm not delaying it because we're lazy or anything else. You just got to be really careful these days. And I'm hoping that life changes for the better over the next few months. As I said, I've been saying this. I have hope. I believe in hope. And so I look forward to the future. Folks, I might normally stick around and get this as my tattoo, someone says. I don't know. I thought about making prints of this and sending them to people. I thought about auctioning this off like in a Jack Vass Memorial Fund auction. But it's special to me. This means something to me, you know. This is the first one. So probably not. Anyway, it's pretty cool. But it does remind me of the Mickey Mouse before the current Mickey Mouse, but like the one on Steamboat Willie or that type of thing. That's what it makes me think of. Wow, there's a gazillion questions I did not answer, and I'm very sorry about that, folks. But then you know what the good news is? I do this every Monday at noon-ish or so I'll be back. So I'll be back a little bit later on today in an hour at 2 o'clock, finishing up the day with 10 more great games. Me, Z, Roy, and Mike be looking at 90 to 81. And then we do it again tomorrow and the next day. Of course, tomorrow morning come in. I know that sounds stupid, but if you have not watched our marble races, they are hilariously fun. More and more of you keep sending me marbles at the end of them. I don't know how we're going to fit all the marbles in soon, but it is highly entertaining, and we are having a blast, and we hope that those of you watching also enjoy this. So it's an entertaining thing, and that's tomorrow at 8:30, and then of course tomorrow at 10 we'll be doing 80 through 71. Thank you all for watching, and let me pull this up here because I gotta end this show and I can't find it. There we go. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. Thank you for watching The Dice Tower. We're going to be doing a top 100 list at 2 o'clock. Come back for that. If you like this, thumb it up. Subscribe. Tell your friends about it. If you don't like it, thumb it down. No, don't do that. Wait, why are you telling people to thumb it down? Get back to the music.